We've talked a bit about the Chesapeake Bay already, and I'm just going to recap. We had a full hearing yesterday. It was very helpful, and I appreciate your participation in. And you talked about how the state is being told by EPA that we're behind on the progress. And that progress, of course, is based upon this model. And this model is something that the public should understand has nothing to do with reality. It's sort of like an electronic game where you get points for finding this data and then bing, 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 and oh, we found this, put a score up. And it was pointed out yesterday that the model said that our reductions in phosphorus, nitrogen, and sediment were 25%, 6%, and 15%, according to the model. But in actuality, the reduction in phosphorus was 20% more, the reduction in nitrogen was 400% more, and the reduction in sediment was 67% more. So the state is aiming towards attaining standards based upon a model that doesn't reflect the reality in the water. The model is broken. And you said yesterday, I asked you if you were going to be arm wrestling EPA, and my understanding is you said you have ongoing discussions, and you've pointed out to them that this is a problem. And just for the information of the members here, I asked for the Secretary to provide his correspondence with EPA on the subject, and I'll be looking forward to seeing that. So just so people know, we're continuing to. We're continuing to move on. But I would also observe that the funding from the federal government for the Chesapeake in this decade is a 45% reduction in working land program funds to Pennsylvania, an 80% cut in the NRCS easements funded, a 50% cut in conservation innovation grants. That's what's already happened. And the Obama budget proposal for the coming year is a reduction in the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which helps all the small sewer systems, and a reduction in funding of the Chesapeake Bay program. I asked you yesterday, and I'm going to ask you again, are you asking the federal government to restore the resources that are necessary for this Chesapeake Bay mandate?
The short answer is yes. What these continued cuts demonstrate, I think, amply is that you can't cut your way to fixing environmental problems, whether it's federal or state. We, for example, just applied late last year to the NRCS and USDA for a $6 million grant under their Regional Conservation Partnership Program. That funding was not approved, even though it was a tremendously strong application. We're going to find out why, because neighboring states got funding and we didn't. There are some issues with respect to the standards that EPA adheres to and the data that they accept on compliance. There are issues with the USDA standards for the implementation of BMPs. We've got to have a very serious conversation with the federal government, and we are in the midst of that conversation about their standards and about getting Pennsylvania the credit that it is due, and that we can demonstrate. Again, water quality data, real-time monitoring suggests that our performance is significantly better than the model says.
Well, I would again request that you correspond with the administration on a federal level requesting restoration of all these cuts and asking that the Obama administration amend its budget proposal to restore funding to Pennsylvania. Will you do so?
Certainly.